In this example, we're going to model a locking slot. There is a video tutorial giving directions about how it's done, and they're pretty good directions, but it's not a tutorial. It doesn't give you all the steps. So we're going to try that, right? And I think over here. So I already have one made, right? Let's take a look. And this is how it eventually pops up, or how it looks, right? So his big thing is that this little slot from this slot to that slot is perfect, right? So that's the key to this. So let's get going. The first part we're going to make, so I made a new document. The first part we're going to make is the cylinder. So I'm going to do a new sketch. I'm going to use the right plane, and I'm going to make a cylinder. Now, it really doesn't matter the size of this cylinder, so I'm just going to use 60 and 50, right? So let's see, I'm going to make a circle, 60, and going to make another circle, 50. And that's the cylinder. Going to bring these out, take a better look at this, right? So that's a cylinder sketch. So I'm going to rename this cylinder. Next thing is we're going to extrude this. I think that one, sorry. So we don't want that one. And it, again, doesn't matter really how large this is. You don't want it too short. Make it as long as you want. So let's see, I think this might be, let's see, 60 might be good. How does that look? Yeah, so that'll do us. It could be larger, but again, not too small, right? So I'm going to call this cylinder. So now we have the cylinder. We have to do the cutouts. So I'm going to make a new sketch, and I'm going to do the cutout on the top plane. So this cutout, it'll cut the first piece. Now, it could have been on the other planes too, just have to watch the angle. So I'm going to use the top plane. And the cutout is, oops, okay, here we go. All right. So I'm going to go down, I'm going to make a circle on, oh, okay, it didn't take. There it is, top plane. So first I'm going to make that slot. The slot size is not critical, you know, you don't want it too big and too small. So I think I made it 10. And just remember that, what value you gave this, because the other slot needs to be the same width. In this case, radius 10. I'm going to move this a little bit because this has to go to the edge, so something like that, right? Remember the distance, we're going to have to be very precise with the distances because we need them later. So I'm going to now get a straight line from the circle down to the edge. One more, circle to the edge. I'm going to, I like this to be tangent to the circle. So right over here, I think we have tangent. So this line, tangent to the circle. This line, tangent to the circle. It doesn't look like it's vertical. Someone also make it vertical. Sorry, horizontal for both. Horizontal, horizontal. Yeah, there it is. So the distance here is not critical, but we want to know what it is. So I'm going to dimension this distance right here. So this is 19. Okay, I'm going to make it 20, even number. 20. So, and that will serve as our first slot cutout. So I'm going to call this slot 1. Slot 1 sketch. So let's now extrude this straight up. We're going to use slot 1, and let's see how it looks. We're going to go through all. Oops, so that's okay. Just didn't get the, oh, I didn't close this, yeah. So let me nix that. I have to close that. Let me go back to my slot 1 sketch and just close this up right here. Okay, and now I could do an extrude, do this and that, and through all, I think we'll do it, and remove. Right, wrong direction, maybe. So that's the little piece. Okay, I'm going to call this slot 1 extrude, and click OK. Okay, the second slot, we're going to put 45 degrees around, clockwise around on this cylinder. It will make the calculations easier later. So we need a new plane at 45 degrees. So I'm going to click plane. I'm going to use mid plane. So it'll be it'll be halfway between the front and the top. There's the plane at 45 degrees. You can kind of see it. The only thing is it needs to be this way, so I'm going to flip it. I'm going to call this slot 2 plane. Okay, so we need to draw on that one a new sketch. I'm going to click on the plane, press N, and it brings me flush with it. I'm also going to hide some of the other ones. You see they're getting in the way, maybe top and front. Yeah, the right one's okay. So press N, get flush with that or perpendicular to that, and we're going to draw the other one. So I'm going to make a new sketch based on this slot 2 plane. I'm going to call this sketch, oops, give it another try. I'm going to call this sketch slot 2. Okay, and we're going to, first thing we're going to do is I'm going to draw a straight line, right, horizontal line right here. Okay, to put the circle on. So I'm going to put that circle, the first for the slot, I'm going to put it right here. And remember, this was 10 from before, right? And now the question is, we want to know where to put this, because this distance is going to be important between the center of that one and that one. So if this one was 20 last time, I'm going to dimension this. I'm going to say 40. So 40. So that means the distance between here and here is 20. So when I extrude later, I'll know that. Okay, I'm going to make another circle right here, 10. I'm going to connect these. We want to make these tangent. So are these vertical? They're not tangent. We'll just make sure they're tangent. So this is tangent to that. This is tangent to this. Tangent, all of them. Oh, let's see what happened there. It says something about vertical. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna, let me go to this one. Okay, so something about vertical here. I'm not sure what that is, where that came from. Nothing's supposed to be vertical here. So I think I got the tangencies. Okay, and okay, so this distance between these two really doesn't matter. I think I can move this one. I should be able to move, you know, it doesn't matter, but it's really, this is critical to know. So I don't know how much you want to make this, whether you want to constrain it or not. You know, I don't think it's necessary. So let's now click and extrude. We're going to make an extrusion. I'm going to call this extrude slot 2. We need to select sketch 2, right? Let's see what we got here. We're going to say remove, we need through all and switch. So there's our slot 2. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna call, yeah, and that's so there are 2 slots. So the trick is now to connect these 2, and that's where his expertise comes in. So in this part, we need to connect these and cut this out. So the way it's going to be done is with a helix, right? But we need a cylinder between these 2 center points. So we're going to put a plane. We need a new plane, vertical, parallel to the, looks like the front plane right here, right? Is that the front plane? Oh, that's the right plane. So anyway, we're going to make a new plane. So I'm going to go here, new plane. Oh, where is it? Plane. Okay, got it. And we're going to offset it from, let's see, let me look at top view. Yeah, offset it from this plane. And if you remember, click, right? And if you remember, this was, I think, to the center of that circle was, what was it, 40? No, 20. Yeah, see the center right here, and we're going to call that helix cylinder. Let's call it cylinder plane. And click OK. So we have that plane, and now we can draw on it. So I'm going to draw a cylinder. I'm going to use this plane right here. I'm going to get normal to it right here, and draw a circle, 60. Okay. Call this cylinder sketch cylinder. Okay, cylinder. Okay, click OK, and now we're going to extrude. We're going to look at this in a different view, top view. Let's flip it around. Top view. Okay, so making a cylinder, I'm going to use this sketch, right? So we'll rotate around, and I need to go to the center of that circle. So I know this will be a new part. I know this was 20. I think the distance was 20. Yeah, see it? Right there. So center of that to center of this. I'm going to call this extrude cylinder. Click OK. I'm going to hide this part for a second just to see what we have. See? Now the next part is the helix. So I'm going to get a helix. Is it over here? Right here. I'm going to use, it says cylinder surfaces, so just click on this, or let's see, it should take, yeah, so you see the, but we have too many turns, right? So I'm going to say 0.125 turns. That has to do with the 45 degree. So you see it's only 1/8 of a turn, sorry, out of 360. The other thing is a degree. So what's the degree? So I'm going to show this part, right? And this is where the guide on the tutorial says you have to play around with it. In my case, I went to 45 and it brought it right to the right slot. You see right here? Center to center. So if yours is not exactly in the same position, you might have to play around with it, right? But it's some factor of 45. So I'm going to call this, okay, helix is okay. And that's it. So if I hide part 2, you'll see right here, we have, this is the line that we want to use to extrude or to sweep across, right? So the first thing is we need a plane that's perpendicular to this line at that point. So we go to plane and we're going to choose curve and point. So it says it wants the curve. I think it wants the curve first. This is the curve. Okay. And now it wants the edge point. So I want that point. And Looks like I should have it. Didn't do it. Let's try again. So vertex, I'm gonna undo it. It says entity, so curve point. Oh, okay. Yeah. So curve point, we'll try one more time. Curve and point. Okay, looks like I got it. So you see I got this plane. Now I hid all the other planes so you can see it clear, you know. So you can hide all the other planes. And you see this is perpendicular, right? And I want to make this a little smaller. So just to bring it in, more manageable, right? Right there. Okay, so you see that's perpendicular and centered at that point. So I'm going to call this sweep plane, plane sweep. Okay, so we're going to draw a rectangle on that plane. So I'm going to new sketch. I'm going to use plane, this sweep, and the height doesn't matter. It's the width that's important for this rectangle. So I'm going to do corner. Okay, just draw a rectangle. Don't constrain it in any way right now. And the key is that the top has to be 10. Okay, wrong one. Let's try this one to be 10. Yeah, this is the one that needs to be 10. Like I said, the height doesn't matter. And then the other part that we need to constrain is that this edge has to be tangent to the circle. So we're going to go tangent, and we're going to choose this edge to that circle. Well, there, so it's tangent. Okay, so I'm going to call this sketch sweep. I click OK, and now we're going to sweep, and we're going to remove. We're going to, it says faces, so we're going to sweep this on this path. You see it cut through. It cut through directly. Sometimes I have to click this, but it didn't come up now. So I'm going to call this sweep. Sweep. I guess sweep is okay. Okay, there it is. This is exactly what I was looking for. I'm going to do one last thing. I'm going to put a bolt through this. So I'm going to go to, and I'm going to make a new extrude. Okay, I'm going to go to one of those sketches, yeah, this one. And I'm going to extrude only, let's see, should it be only, okay, I'm going to show the sketch. And I'm going to do only this one, yeah, up there, and I can go 35, and you want to see 35? Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to make this into a new part, and that's the bolt. Click, so I'm going to call this bolt 1. We could do the same thing, add another bolt down here. So if I extrude now, and I go to the other sketch, yeah, this one. I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to just show it. I don't want the whole thing. I just want this piece right here. 35, it's somehow giving me red. Okay, that's better. 35 too. Yeah. We'll put this in part 3. Is that possible? And I'm going to call it bolt 2. So let's add to part 3. I don't think it did, but so that's it. So you see these two bolts fit pretty perfectly, pretty perfect into these slots. Of course, I could actually do one more on the other side. Why not? I'm going to do another Add, let's see, add to part 3, we'll do it. And let me get that other one, other sketch. So this sketch right here, and just this circle. Okay, 35. I don't know why it gives me red when it's smaller, right? 35, still red, I'm gonna say part 3. Say new. Okay, so it likes new better. Okay, so we got the 3 bolts. And looks pretty smooth, and they look pretty smooth in their slots. I can hide some of these sketches. And the other one, there's another sketch out here. 2, sketch 1 maybe. Okay, so there they are.